What's amazing and what's been a truth from the start of time pretty much is if you live a healthier life, you will be healthier. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all, Happy podcast. I'm your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
And this is Motivation Monday. We have some killer questions for you in the mailbag, questions submitted from our amazing community members just like yourself. And if you ever want to submit a question in the future, please do so. Follow us on Instagram, shoot us a DM. And if you have any question, big or small, we'll add it to our list and we would love to answer it on the episode. And we always like to kick off these episodes with our primary question. So we're going to start right there. And the first question out of the mailbag is, what are the best ways to track progress? I already weigh in every day, but I want more ways to quantify my progress. And this is a phenomenal question because if you're not tracking progress, it can be very hard to actually gauge if you're receiving it. And even with clients, what's amazing when I get the amazing results, like usually they're the one telling me all the different metrics that we'll kind of cover here of like other people noticing their progress, their mood improving, their doctor will usually ask them what they're doing from their blood work. But even for me, when I started, it's kind of silly, but I remember I was like, okay, I want to get fit, whatever clicked in my mind. And I remember thinking too, like if I drink a ton of water and do a lot of crunches for some reason, like that'll get rid of the fat. And this is when I was like a kid, I guess this is before I officially started, but I remember I was chugging water. I did probably like a million crunches for an hour and I kept looking in the mirror and abs weren't there. And I think what's hard about fitness and what's also exciting about fitness is it's something where you can see the end result forming as you do it. A lot of things, like it's like nothing to something. Like you plant a seed, you don't see anything for a long time, and then that seed sprouts. What's really cool about fitness especially is like you can see that change day after day. So you can see the scale changing, you can see muscles forming, you can see new veins popping in. And like these are really, really exciting metrics. It's just that they're a lot harder to quantify and actually measure. So I like that that was included in this because weight isn't arbitrary. Like it's set. It is what it is. Like if I'm 180 pounds, I'm 180 pounds, especially if you're doing it correctly and you're weighing in the morning after you've gone to the bathroom in minimal clothing. That's going to be as close to accurate day after day as it can be. It's very hard for me to say if like my arm looks a little bigger one day, and naturally our mind will kind of lie to itself a bit, and it's easy to have a little bit of body dysmorphia and even feel like you're not as big as you are, you look worse than you are. And it's funny too, because in retrospect, there's times where I distinctly remember I was very lean, but I thought I could be leaner. And it's common human condition to want more than where you already are. And I remember thinking, oh, if I just lose 5 more pounds, I'll look really good. But now I'll look at photos from that time and I'll be like, I was shredded. Like, why did I ever wear a shirt? Like it looked killer there, right? So with that, I think that's where actually finding ways to track this is the best it can be. So when I started naturally with weighing in, looking at myself in the mirror, and then I wanted to take it a step further because what gets tracked gets managed. And I just learned through and through, like with anything I was studying, that tracking, finding tangible results is everything. So I would have my weight goals and then I would take it a step further. I started creating like measurement goals. So with that, I'd be like, okay, my arms are like 14 inches. I want to get them to 16 inches. And that would be really fun. And to this day, this is something I do with my clients. And I think it's just about creating the process to do these things consistently. So I would say my number one metric is weight, not because your weight's your worth, but just a tool to let you know if you're moving closer to further from your goals. And naturally too, you can read between the lines. Like getting heavier doesn't mean you're just putting on fat. You could be putting on muscle, but you have to be honest with yourself. If you're trying to lose weight, you start lifting and your weight's going up, you're probably putting on fat. Yes, muscle weighs more than fat, but that's just not truthfully the way it works immediately. So instead, you can just use this as an honest metric to make sure you're moving towards your goals, especially if you're bulking. It's very tangible. But measurements are nice because, like I said, the eye will play tricks, and that's where physique photos are really good as well. So every month, at the very least, I recommend doing measurements, taking your photos and having that data set and in there. And I make it really easy for my clients because I like to refer back on that. And sometimes too, like we won't see crazy pivots on the scale. Maybe they'll only lose like 4 or 5 pounds, but you look at their photos and their waist will be 4 or 5 inches smaller. Their arms will have more muscle on them. Their back will be bigger. For the ladies, a lot of the time, like the glutes will see a ton of growth. We'll see a lot of muscular development in the legs, and we'll just see that waist shrink right down into that hourglass figure. And what's amazing too, like I said, I've had situations where I've had clients, especially ladies, who lose like 2 pounds or so, but we're really optimizing for their intensity in the gym. We're optimizing their nutrition. We're enhancing their protein and really just making sure they're in as anabolic a state as possible. And within that, we're seeing waist shrink like 4 inches, which doesn't sound crazy, but visually it is a nuts difference, especially if you're putting on muscle in your legs, because your legs actually widen out a bit, your waist gets smaller, and you get that hourglass. And it's amazing the difference that can make visually. Like I said, day to day, it's very hard to notice that. And that's why I like these photos every month. Even my clients, I can refer back, I can look cleanly in their spreadsheet and see all their weigh-ins. I can see all their weight history. So those are like the most tangible forms of progress, in my opinion, especially physique based. We have some other notes here too, like strength gains are a phenomenal thing to track, and they can be additional mechanisms of support to encourage you in your journey. Because especially too, like it's nice the more wins you can feel. When you feel like you're winning every day, that's the best. So maybe weight's up a bit, you ate a little bit later, you had some sodium, but you got in the gym, use that extra fuel and sodium that's in your system, and you hit an all-time lift. You can do things like tracking your weight week to week using apps like Rep Count, Strong, and your notepad on your phone. And you can say, hey, last week I did 75s for shoulder press. This week I'm going to go for 80s. And you can know you hit a PR. So the more different metrics you can find to do this, the more exciting it is. And I highly recommend having tangibles that you can refer to week after week, month after month, year after year. And actually for myself, even, I just turned 30. So I actually just booked an appointment with my doctor. I haven't done a checkup in 10 years since I was 20, which is a little bit sad. But I also arranged to do my blood work, because what I want to do is at every 5 years minimum, especially as I begin to age, gauge my blood work, gauge how my health is relevant to my doctor's standards. And you can take it a step further. We do DEXA scans usually about twice a year. So I can see, am I truly as fit as I was 5 years ago? And this data is important because you can see if you're either moving towards your goals or away from your goals. And data doesn't lie. Data doesn't have feelings. And that's what's nice about it, is you can actively say, okay, is what I'm doing working? Am I moving towards my goals? And those are my top ways.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that DEXA scan. We literally just booked it yesterday and got a couple of buddies that were going to be joining us. But it's so cool because, like, obviously you'll be able to see a lot from that. And it's not accessible to everyone, but it's about $75 per visit. And you'll see so much, your bone density, your just resting heart rate. Like, there'll be a lot of great feedback from that. But I really like everything Josh said, and it's something obviously I've been doing for myself, my clients, all of our community for many, many years. Now, the thing is where a lot of people, I guess, go wrong. Like, our biggest mission is to help you be able to see change and feel like you're making change consistently, right? And obviously the scale can fluctuate here and there. But when you do have these other things to realize and give you that feedback, like, hey, this actually is working, it keeps you accountable. It keeps you showing up. And that's where, to me, non-scale victories and non-scale ways are also an incredible tool that many, many people forget about, because they'll weigh in and, like, you know, some examples Josh was sharing, let's just say it goes up half a pound. Like, you can for the entire day focus on that half a pound that is showing up higher and just like not want to put in work. It can demotivate you. It can be frustrating. And I've been there many times over until I had to tell myself, hey, things are moving in the right direction. So even if your mood is getting better, like you're becoming more clear, there's more clarity because you're strength training, you're doing cardio, you're eating better, that's a huge win. When people start to compliment you when you're starting on your fitness journey and they're noticing your progress, they'll notice it much before you ever will. So that's an amazing way to gauge progress as well. And honestly, even stuff like energy, if you're sleeping better, there's so many incredible things that just like day to day, like if your cardio is improving, that's incredible. Like, that's progress. So you have to give yourself some other tools and some other things to think about. Even one of my favorite ones is a consistency tool. So a lot of people, if you're, let's say you're new to the gym, you haven't really been there, if you're just simply showing up, that's progress. Like, the fact that you went from 0 workouts or like never using your gym membership to going 3 times a week is incredible. Or if you're choosing the healthier option, there's so many things that I really recommend you utilizing to keep you showing up, to notice that you're making progress. And when you have these other things helping you out, you'll be able to see this scale go down. You'll be able to see the photos consistently get better. So I love this question, and I really hope my answer helped on top of Josh's.
Yeah, one of my favorite things ever is just other people noticing. Like I said, it's really easy to get in your own head and to downplay your own success or your own progress. I know a lot of people struggle with that. But when you see other people and they're like, hey, you look like you lost weight, or you're looking jacked in that shirt, like, take those wins, appreciate them, don't discount them. I think people are too quick to feel like other people are just buttering up their ego, but usually people don't just make this stuff up. Like, usually they'll say it when they notice it. And I think what's awesome too is like, when people go out of their way to say something positive, that's always like the best feeling. But as I mentioned, the ones that are like hard data where you can really just have that info, you can reference it previously, is the best. And I just want to also add, it's really important you track the right data. People get very sideswiped. I tried Whoop for a couple weeks to give an experiment because I know people love it. And I know people narrow in on really funky, weird data. As long as it motivates you to do more and improve, that's totally fine. But in general, you want to make sure you're moving those big pillars forward, right? Are the measurements getting more optimal? And you might say, okay, well, what does an optimal measurement mean? Naturally, you want your waist to be at a reasonable size and heading in the right direction. You want your muscular areas to be bigger and stronger. You want your heart rate to be lower. You want your VO2 max to be as high as you can. Like, everyone has very different goals, but any goal that will motivate you and you can track and refer back to is amazing, because you can actively say, like, am I actually improving? Am I moving in the right direction? So those are our top ways to do this. I mean, there's other things, of course, as well, like cutting down pant sizes. A common complaint we actually do get in our program is that people have to buy new clothes because they're just stripping off fat, putting on a lot of muscle, and it drastically changes your build. I guess it's a great problem to have, but it is a problem nonetheless. So different things like that can be absolutely amazing as well. And even like the harder you train, you can sleep better, you can have more energy. All these things are absolute bonuses as well. But I highly recommend, on a high level, just like we have our clients do, you're taking physique photos every month so you can compare, like, is my back actually growing, especially if you're programming to grow your back, that you're tracking your macros, you're seeing your adherence there. We have additional statistics for that, like what percentage point of accuracy you have for your protein for that week, for the month, for the rest of your calories, for your energy levels. Like, we actively track all that for our clients in a really nicely organized spreadsheet, which we're really proud of. But the more systems you can have, the more it can be motivating as well. But now we're going to go ahead and jump right into our quotes. This is something we like to do for Motivation Monday because we want to fire you up and get you motivated. And I think very few things fire me up as much as a good quote, because just like a little snippet of energy, of thought, of just amazingness. So we'll see what Kyle has here.
Yeah, this is from a video Josh shared with me a while ago. I'll share it in the link down below. I think it's called Be That Guy. It might be 1.0 or 2.0. And I feel like I'm referencing Greg Plitt so much these days because he's just so motivating, even though obviously he's not here. And I really like this thing. Just once you pause it and you have to like instantly write it down, that's how you know it's good. So he said, there's always going to be a party. The bars will always be there. No matter what, they're always open. Obviously, they may not be open at 5 a.m., but you get the point. But he said, what's not always open is the opportunity to check the box of achieving your dreams. And I thought that was so powerful because even when I do look at my life or even just the future, like, he is so right. There will always be those bars, those parties, and all that, those get-togethers and all that stuff. It's not to push your friends aside and not care, but we have different levels in our life and different times where we can only accomplish our goals, right? Like, there's different buckets in our life. And even for Josh and myself, like starting this fitness channel, if I didn't take that opportunity, it's possible by the time I turn 30, it's like that opportunity's gone. Like, it's just, it's not the same that it would have been, right? Even I say us starting YouTube, like, it was a little bit of luck, starting at the right time, but it was a lot of just like being in the right place, taking the opportunity that was there. And I think like when it comes down to it, I'm always trying to think of these things, right? Like, just to try to actually do things that really matter and move the needle, especially when it comes to achieving your dreams. Like, I see a lot of people pushing it down the road, saying like one day, whether it's like even something fitness related, business, travel related. And then as we know, things get tougher with the kids and with just other obligations and with age and everything like that. So no matter where you're at right now, sit down, think, what do I want to achieve? When do I want to achieve it? Why do I want to achieve it? And to me, that's so important. So I really like this quote today.
Yeah, it's funny Kyle brought that up because I actually was going to message that and send that to him today, or not today, this week rather. I can't remember what day I listened to it, but I listened to the same quote, and that one always fired me up because it's so true. Like, the comforts are always there. They're always so easy to jump into. It's harder to actually jump into change and seeing progress. And for my quote, I actually have a quote from Tony Robbins, and that is, the more progress you make, the happier you are. And progress in general is just one of the best feelings when you make amazing progress on a something, one of your goals and aspirations in life, on a work progress, on something you're wanting to achieve emotionally or in your family, like in the gym, progress in general is just the best. And I think life is progress, right? You grow up, you learn, you improve, you explore, and like by metric, that is progress. And I just think to that quote of like, the sad thing about like a graveyard isn't all the people there that passed, it's all the dreams that were never fulfilled, the lives that were never lived. So in general, I think it's important you ask yourself, like, am I actually progressing? And what's hard about progress is you got to have that challenge of overcoming something you don't want to do, of facing adversity, of facing a challenge. And I think in general too, like having watched these motivational videos, like I love the comments about just disappearing, doing the work and showing up a different person. Like if you lock yourself into your goal or your ambitions, or you make some sacrifice to see that change, like people really downplay what they can do in time. I know it's a common quote as well that people will overestimate how much they can do in a short period of time and really underestimate how much they can do in a long period of time. And that's what I love about our coaching too. People come in with bite-sized goals. Like I guess to some people they would seem impossible, but thankfully we're very confident and happy with what we do, where we easily help people lose, like let's say 20 pounds of fat in 90 days and then build 10 pounds of new muscle. And then we help them look so much past that. And we end up having just individuals like yourself who never thought they could be fit, or they didn't deserve it, or everyone in their whole family was out of shape, so they couldn't actually be that fit person or that example. Then we have them like doing shows, being an example to their family, becoming trainer, like whatever it may be. We're able to support people not only with that initial goal, but help them really learn how amazing progress is. And most importantly, doing it in a way that really just fits their lifestyle, where it's not overly taxing on you. And even for us, like I love that I can eat whatever I want with absolute freedom, which I think is one of the best things in the world. I don't spend excessive times in the gym. I still appreciate going to the gym 15 years later. And we've worked very hard to build that out. So if you're not progressing, it's oftentimes too not because of effort, it's because of misapplication. You're doing the wrong things. Like ultimately, if you're trying to go to a different country and you're trying to swim across the ocean, like it's not going to happen. Instead, you need like the right vehicle to get there. And that's where I'm really proud of what we do. And we've really worked hard to build a vehicle that works. And I know a lot of you are going to listen to this and you're going to do nothing. You're going to see no change, and it's going to stay in the same way. Some of you are going to get fired up, do it for a week. And then there's going to be a couple of you listen to this and say, you know what? I want this freedom. I want this change. I want to actually see the results I deserve. I want to begin a life of progression. I don't want to say, okay, I'm 30, I'm 35. Like it's downhill from here. All my best moments were in my past. I was my healthiest in my past. Like that is no way to live. I can assure you that is no way to live. So if you want to learn how you can have freedom to have your best physique, lose 20 plus pounds of fat, and build a ton of muscle, this is your opportunity. And for those of you that reach out and say this, I'm going to change your life in 90 days, you're going to be so glad you did. And I'm so excited to share your transformation. So if you want to learn more, message me freedom. And because I'm so fired up right now, I'm going to open up 4 spots with me personally coaching with me. So I will be your coach to absolutely get you the results you deserve, losing 20 plus pounds of fat, getting 10 plus pounds of muscle, and building the structure for a lifestyle of balance and progression in your fitness. So DM me freedom. It'll be first come, first serve for that, because I'm really excited and I got some high level ideas to get you the best results ever. So once again, message me freedom on my Instagram at ColossusFit, COLOSSUSFIT, and let's progress together.
Yeah, honestly, when it comes down to it, that misapplication is just one of the biggest mistakes. And we can't wait to show you that you have what it takes. Honestly, I see there's 2 buckets that a lot of people fall into, right? On one end, it's the people who just don't show up. They don't really do much. They know that they just aren't going to get the results. And that's not you, because you're listening to this fitness podcast. You want to be better. And when you have the right tools to get you there, you have the right mechanisms that you can even monitor in terms of progress, and you have the actual game plan, it makes such a big difference. Like while we're on the note of tracking mechanisms, I see a lot of people just kind of using data improperly, right? We shared a lot of different ways to monitor it, but I'll see so many, and even friends, family, other things, other people just at get-togethers, and they have all these things in the right intention, but it's just they're not actually putting in that work in the things that will move the needle and actually make change. Obviously, sleep scores are great, but like you also have to put in the work. Seeing your cardio levels improve, like that is great, but we also have to put the work in other categories. So I know Coach Josh will absolutely crush it with you. It's an amazing opportunity. We can't wait to help you in our program and just show you that you have what it takes. So yeah, definitely message, because you don't want to miss out on this.
Yeah, and I think on that note, as we go into our thoughts, I think a large part of success is being able to delay gratification and doing the things you hate like you love them until eventually you do love them. And I think a cool example is we saved and actually deleted some of our old YouTube videos because they were so bad. And Kyle, just like, you swear he was drunk or something. Like, it was just not a good video. He wasn't articulating well. He kind of kept going in the same verbal loops. And it's hilarious because distinctly, I remember he had such a disdain for making content. He had a really good Twitter. He was really good at packaging things there. He didn't like being in front of a camera. He used to freak out and get angry that he'd say the wrong thing. But because he overcame that, it's actually hilarious now that content is one of Kyle's favorite things. It inspires him. He loves it. He articulates well. He puts out incredible content. And he wouldn't have been able to get to this point, and he would have had an absolute aversion for it. He would have lived an entirely different life. There would have been 5,000 people that would not have been transformed, that very likely would have still been struggling with their fitness and health. So just because you have an aversion to some component of health or fitness or whatever, you just need to learn to go through it. And obviously having someone to hold your hand with that is super, super instrumental. And thankfully, like, to me, I find this side of things a little bit easier, but sometimes on the creative side, that's where I'll have a little bit a harder time, and that's where Kyle's really good. So it's even good where we can kind of build each other up where we're struggling, and that's where you, with your fitness, your health, your happiness, having a coach there is just, it's such a game changer. And it's really cool on the other side of it. Like, when you look back and see that you made it through, it's just so hard to get started sometimes. So that's what was on my mind. I just wanted to encourage you too, like, don't be too scared to start because you're worried about failing or you're not the most confident with something. Because I think, like, that's such a great example. We'll make a piece of content on it soon, and we'll release some of that old video. Even, like, I have a video of Kyle talking about mobility, and he says the same thing like six different times. One of my favorite videos ever, and we laugh about it. But it's really cool, like, to see that progression, that skill come. And that just, like I said, it's doing the things you hate like you love them, and eventually you learn you do love them. I can't tell you how many people I've had sign up for coaching with me say they hate the gym, they don't want to go. We start them what's reasonable, sustainable with them, or not at all, and we focus on nutrition, and then eventually we build into it. And those same people end up loving the gym and wanting to go more and wanting even to do more crazy things and see crazier strength gains. So it's really cool. Like, oftentimes we won't like things just because we're, like, a little insecure about it, or we're unsure, or there's some friction there. But it's really cool when you come through that, because you realize what you're capable of.
And I see a lot of people making this mistake, kind of on that note of, like, kind of putting the horse in front of the carriage. Like, even this really cool gentleman we recently met in Dallas, and we're going to share a lot more on that later. He had said he was wanting to build out a program, and he was kind of looking to get into ads and stuff like that. And he was asking us for our tips, because obviously we've been doing it for many, many years. I was like, man, you just got to start. Like, you just got to start posting. Like, get some Instagram posts out, start figuring out what it is you want to do. Like, take a million different shots. Maybe half of them will fail and they just won't work, but, like, you have to start. And even for fitness, I see so many people trying to get the most perfect situation, right? The most perfect gym that, like, they absolutely love, which, you know, can be important. They're trying to get all these supplements, like, they're figuring out what workout belt they should be using before they even sign up. So just be mindful of that. Like, you're better off just, like, getting started and then kind of, like, looking into doing other deeper stuff. But I see a lot of people putting it off. And even if I waited until I was, like, the most perfect speaker or good on camera, like, even the first video that Josh we were watching, I was like, the quality of this is bad. I don't even remember what it was. Like, it looked like it was a GoPro, but it was probably just a really old phone. But I'm like, I'm so grateful for these moments, because I wouldn't be talking to you right now had I not started. So just another thing to keep in mind that I'm really passionate about.
And now we'll jump into our client shout out. We love sharing a client who's been killing it, who has a killer transformation out, because these are people that reached out to us that were struggling just perhaps like you are, that came through it, that are absolutely just crushing it beyond belief. So who do we have this week to showcase?
Yeah, and this week we have George and Deanne, and they're a power couple. They lost over 50 pounds together. You'll see if you're watching on YouTube, as well as Spotify, just the video, both their transformations. We'll also post them on Instagram at Colossus Fit, COLOSSUSFIT. But like we've been talking about today, a lot of where people, they start to improve with us is just being able to apply things in the right way. Instead of overworking in the gym, overthinking things, instead of, like, trying to do a meal plan that's not going to actually work, we actually take each individual one-on-one and we say, who is this person? What does George need? What does Deanne need? They're not going to be on the same program. even though they're husband and wife, it's going to be completely different based off of what they need, their past struggles, anything that's taken place in the past, their time frame they have, the gym, everything is completely customized. And that's why we're able to get such incredible success, is just because every person is completely unique. Once you send the starting photo, once you send the form that we get you to fill out, and we have the conversation and figure out everything you need, it's tailored towards your situation. So we're so proud of this because they've been able to lose weight, keep it off. And even while we're on the topic of just like different victories, you'll notice a lot of different changes have taken place. Obviously the scale, they've lost a lot of weight, but their body composition has completely changed, gaining lean muscle, feeling so much better, losing fat, gaining more strength, and we're so proud of them. So give them some love on our Instagram, and if you're looking to get the same results and just absolutely crush it, make sure to message Freedom and we'll absolutely take care of you, guaranteed.
Huge shout out. And I think about this sometimes, actually. I think like how if someone who is unfit woke up in my body, they'd probably feel like insane. And I distinctly remember my doctor one time, I went in for something. It wasn't anything crazy. And I mentioned it and he's like, oh, give me a break. He's like, if I woke up in your body, I'd be dancing around and so happy. He's like, you're just so fit and so attuned that anything feeling off kind of bugs you. And that really made me think, because I'm like, I'm so grateful to be this way. Like walking around feeling strong, feeling like just a beast, if you will, right? Feeling lean, feeling happy, feeling control. It's like the best feeling. And I wish that for everyone. And that's honestly why I started coaching, because to me, it's very simple. Like I've really worked hard to make these systems. I've gotten better and better at them, but it really doesn't need to be hard. And I assure you, like you can navigate life so much better and so much more conveniently by just like actually taking care of yourself. And like, if you've never been super fit, you're missing out. Perhaps you've been there before, perhaps you're there now, but you know how amazing that feels. And I think that's why some people in particular will romanticize like high school or a time when they were more towards that level of fitness. But I assure you, you are never out. We have people we work with that are 50, 60, 70. We've had people as high as 80, which is absolutely amazing and which we're so proud of. So don't count yourself out here. You got a lot of amazing opportunity. We'd love for you to be our next success story. Message me Freedom, take advantage of this amazing opportunity. This will also register you for our New Year's challenge. So you'll automatically be in for that as well. So like there is no better time than right now to do this. So if you're hearing this, and you want to see change once and for all, don't hesitate. DM me Freedom. But now we're going to go into our second question, and we saved some of our thoughts because obviously this is applicable. And that is, how was Texas and why were you guys down here? Yeehaw.
Yeah, we were there for a business conference. I love the yeehaw, by the way.
That was just me not in the question.
There we go. It was a great time. Honestly, we went for 5 days. What's really cool, like there were so many takeaways. Like it's hard to even articulate everything here. Like Josh and myself have like lists of things that we want to do, we want to improve on, and we want to start taking action on, which we already have. So really exciting stuff. But yeah, it was a couple-day conference. The biggest thing and what we really gathered from it is just the consistent investment in ourselves has always paid off and will always pay off. Now, what I will say is it can sometimes be uncomfortable. Like even the thought of us having to book the flight, take action. We saw an ad from this guy. It was a great conference. It was like, I'll be honest with you. When I get into these situations, I'm nervous. Like there was even a thought where we're just like, oh man, like, is it worth it? Right? We had to book the hotel. There's a lot of variables, but I can promise you anytime I've ever had that feeling where it's like, man, I don't know about it, it always ends up being worth it. So yeah, we learned a lot. And what's cool, and even for us, like we're such big fans of like doing fun things and also at the same time like having some bucket list kind of opportunities. So for us to go to a Cowboys game with really good seats, we went to a rodeo, we met Tom Brady, we went to a Dallas Stars and Vancouver Canucks hockey game. So it was a lot of fun. And honestly, like even as I reflect, one of my favorite things is being able to travel. I came back, I did have a little bit more fun food and there were some funny situations with that, but I'm back at the exact weight that I left at. And like, to me, that's just so fulfilling, being able to go enjoy some foods, not feel like I went backwards, and just like live my life while making progress and being able to help more people. I'm very grateful for it. So that's my little summary there.
Yeah, this was our second time in Texas. We were in Dallas, Texas this time. Previously, we were being to Austin, Texas, where Nick Bear invited a bunch of creators out. And we went to his gym and spent some time with him. And that was an amazing opportunity. That was a long time ago now, probably like 5 or 6 years, something like that. I'm guessing. Could be a little off. I mean, it's on our YouTube, but it was fun, obviously, to be back in Texas. We stayed more in towards towards the city, and we didn't, it was a lot of work, honestly. It was a great opportunity for me and Kyle to like do some vision planning, to really buckle down and get some stuff done, to do some networking. And what was really awesome too is like, I don't just tell people to invest in themselves. I do it all the time myself. And it's so cool because when I invest in myself, like I'd always just pay so many dividends, and it'll even pay dividends in like the most random of areas, because you'll just like get energized. Like I believe action always produces more action. So what's awesome too is like I wasn't only just fired up about like growing my business and my podcast and my impact, most importantly in the world. Like it just helped me have some new creative ideas and have more energy in everything. Like I just noticed there was more enthusiasm in the gym. I had lots of ultra cool new ideas for my clients. Like just right away, it just gets you so hungry and inspired. And I think that's one of my favorite things. And that's where I love a lot of people who come into our program. They'll be like, hey, you guys motivated me. I've started reading books and I'm starting to improve in my career. I got a promotion. I'm saving more money. I'm doing all these things. And that's what I mean. Like living in a state of progress is just the best. Like just feeling like you're moving in that direction, you're having that success is just one of the best feelings ever. Now for our final question out of the mailbag, and this is a big one and one I've been getting quite a lot, and that is how to fix hormonal damage so you can actually start losing fat. So I've had quite a few people say they'd love to lose weight, but a deficit doesn't work for them because their hormones are a mess. And in general, it's really easy to get in the weeds about this. And I know there's like a lot of doctors and naturopaths who have really kind of tap into this niche, but I can assure you what's amazing and what's been a truth from the start of time pretty much is if you live a healthier life, you will be healthier. I know that sounds like the worst, most obvious advice I've ever given, but I really stand behind this because if you're so obsessed about hormonal health and gut health, these things matter and they're important, but you have to ask yourself too, like, what is the reason your hormones are in such a bad state? So if you just competed a physique show, it makes sense your hormones are going to be in the gutter. If you were stranded on an island and you were starving for 2 weeks and you just got back, probably in the gutter as well. But any of these extreme circumstances, you can quickly rectify it by eating back to maintenance, eating healthy foods, getting a ton of sleep, taking care of yourself stress-wise, and working out. Like if you do the big three, there's no reason you shouldn't be in a pretty natural and healthy place for this. And I know it's hard, like there's rare exceptions like PCOS and other things. And even with those, the advice largely really comes back to the big three. So once again, taking care of yourself nutritionally, aiming to eat healthy food, getting in the gym, being active, walking, whatever it may be, and then obviously getting lots of rest and taking care of your stress levels. Any of these things are going to nuke how your hormones are. If you have an unhealthy lifestyle and you're taking too many drugs, drinking, doing these things, anything that actively works against you having healthy hormones in balance can be rectified by really pulling on these big levers. So like you can do little things like have probiotics to improve your gut health and triple down on your fiber. And people will put a lot of effort into more of the minutia, which is like a second thought to these main issues. And like, it's awesome you're doing something. I'd rather you do something than nothing. But you need to be like, you got to be real with yourself. Like if your hormones are messed and every Saturday and Sunday you're out and you're spending all this money, you're drinking a whole bottle of tequila, you're ordering in McDonald's every night, you only get 2 hours of sleep because you're in the club, fist pumping it up every Saturday, Sunday. Like I'm not surprised, like your body's like, because during the week it's good and then you tank everything. Like it's going to take a toll on you, right? So like sometimes you just got to be honest with yourself and like face that problem that's in front of you. If you're scared, you're not exercising, you're sedentary, like go exercise. If you're eating like absolute trash, start working towards eating healthier. Like you got to actually pull that lever that's hard. And like, it's that uncomfortable thing that maybe you're doing, you're not proud of, that you need to stop, or maybe you're smoking or whatever it is. Like when you fix these massive issues, that's how you can actually like repair your hormones and have them be in a better place, because living healthier is generally the uniform fix for this. And that's where I love like things like blood work and doctor's appointments, because our clients will go, and I've had clients that have been overweight or unhealthy, and the doctor will be like blown away because they'll be like, this is a new person. And it's not like I'm having them do these specific things for their hormones and taking these crazy supplements, like doing those big movers, right? Losing weight, being a healthy body weight, once again, lifting, eating healthier, making an effort, still having fun foods, getting good rest. Like all these things take work. And like I said, it's doing the things you hate like you love them. Maybe you love staying up till 3 a.m. every night. and getting up at 7 because there's things you want to do in that time, you got to get to bed earlier. Like you got to do that hard thing, right? So just ask yourself, what actually do you need to do? And that's where I'd put more effort than any of these gimmicky things. Like I'm sure it sounds sexy to you if I tell you, like, if you get this Aura band that I sell, it's going to fix all your hormones. Everything's going to be pumping. You're going to be a new energized. That sounds sexy. You want to do that because it requires no challenge or change. But like, that's where a coach is good too, because I'll call you out on it. Like I have clients, but I crushed it. I'm like, how was sleep? Right. Like, so it's nice knowing for the individual what lever I need to pull for them to see actual change.
I think for some people, it's just so much easier to jump to like that thing that is a lot sexier, such as, let's just say athletic greens, like AG1, like they're always promoting in all these podcasts and they say, hey, are your hormones damaged? And like, are you not getting enough veggies for you to function properly? Try this drink. And people are like, okay, here's my credit card, done. That Aura ring, the Whoop band, like all these different things that a lot of people promote, especially like supplements. There's so much of that. Or even if your doctor says, hey, you should do this, you should take this, and this is what you need. It feels a lot easier for people to just be like, okay, cool, like let me do that. But if we're to sit here, which we are, and say, hey, drink more water, when your nighttime clock goes off and says, hey, get ready for bed, like actually listen to it, turn off your devices, like go for a walk. It's not as fun to hear, but the truth is we have helped thousands of people repair their hormones, their metabolism, their gut health, all that great stuff just from getting in there and telling them what they need to do and not what they want to actually hear, right? Because obviously if I could say, hey, you're going to have all this fixed with like one snap or like one order of something, everyone would do it because it's just so easy. But if you're to just sit down with yourself and say, hey, what does a healthy lifestyle look like day to day? You all know what that is. It's having some good amount of greens. It's getting some veggies in. It's eating about 1 gram per pound of protein. It's even managing stress. Like a lot of people within their hormones, they're constantly stressed. Their sleep is out of whack. They're skipping the gym and they're like wondering why they're not able to just like function properly and their energy's low and they're not able to lose fat. It's your body working against you because you're not in line with the healthy habits you should have day to day. So that's going to be my little rant there. Anything else to add?
That's it. Once again, I got 4 spots with me personally. I'm going to absolutely 5x your results, help you shred fat, build muscle. Message me freedom on Instagram. This is your moment to shine. You deserve to have a body you're really proud of and limitless energy and excitement about your journey. So once again, hit me up on Instagram at ClossFit, COLOSSUSFIT. Hit me up with freedom and I'll get right back to you. And I can't wait to get started.